All right, you glorious bastards. You really dove headfirst into this one, huh? The 2023 IPL season.
It was a wild one.
We're talking the Indian Premier League here, the Super Bowl of cricket, and you know what? You've got a goddamn mountain of info to unpack. So let's rip through this shit and give you the no bullshit rundown.
You've been digging deep trying to get up to speed on all the insane action.
And let me tell you, there was a shit ton of it. This season was back with a vengeance home and away format for the first time in 4 fucking years.
Fans were back in full force.
Oh, and the final.
A nail-biter.
Longest IPL final ever. Rain delays, a reserve day, last ball finish. Talk about a goddamn edge-of-your-seat thriller.
A match for the ages.
And the Chennai Super Kings. Those crafty motherfuckers, they tied the Mumbai Indians for most IPL titles at 5. Each dynasty shit right there.
They've cemented their legacy.
All right, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's give our listener a crash course on 2020 cricket. What the hell is it, and why should they give a shit?
2020 or T20? It's basically cricket on crack.
Explain that.
Each team gets 20 overs to bat, and they're swinging for the fences every goddamn ball. Think of it like the home run derby of cricket. Fast, furious, and a shit ton of fun to watch.
So basically cricket for folks with ADHD.
You could say that. It's definitely designed to be more action-packed and appealing to a wider audience.
All right, that makes sense. Now, walk us through how this clusterfuck of a season was structured.
We started with 10 teams, divided into 2 groups, Group A and Group B. Not the most creative names I know.
Yeah, no shit.
Each team played every other team in their group once, and every team in the other group twice. Home and away, so 14 matches per team in the league stage.
Before the playoffs.
Exactly.
Home and away format, baby. Fans were going apeshit.
Absolutely. The top 4 teams from each group based on points, then duked it out in the playoffs.
All right, simple enough. Hold the fucking phone.
Yeah.
They threw in some new rules this season, right? What kind of bullshit did they cook up?
Oh, they definitely spiced things up.
Give it to me straight.
One of the biggest changes was the impact player rule.
This is the one that had everyone's panties in a bunch, right?
Yeah, it was a controversial one. Basically, each team could designate a substitute player, the impact player. From a pre-selected group of 4, they could sub this guy in at any point during the match, whether a wicket fell or not.
So like a pinch hitter in baseball.
Exactly. It added a whole new layer of strategy, as teams could use the impact player to beef up their batting, bowling, or both, depending on the situation.
Sounds like it could really fuck with the flow of the game. What other shenanigans did they pull?
They also allowed teams to declare before the toss.
Hold up. Declare before the toss. What kind of mindfuckery is that?
It was a strategic move, allowing teams to show their cards early, especially when it came to batting or bowling first.
Mind games, huh? I dig it.
Then there was a 5-run penalty for any unfair fielder movement before the ball was bowled.
Sounds like some fielders were being sneaky little shits.
It was all about keeping things fair and preventing fielders from gaining an advantage.
I bet that led to some heated arguments on the field.
Oh, for sure. And last but not least, they introduced a stricter penalty for slow over rates. Teams taking too damn long to bowl their overs.
So if a team was dragging ass, they got punished.
You got it. If they were too slow, only 4 fielders were allowed outside the 30-yard circle for the remaining overs, making it easier for the batsmen to score.
That's pretty big fucking stick to wield.
Yeah.
So IPL's all about keeping the game moving, huh?
Exactly. The faster the game, the more exciting it is for the fans.
Speaking of fans, I bet they were pissed off about those slow over rates. Games going past midnight, no one wants that shit.
There were definitely complaints from both fans and players. Even Joss Butler, the English star, went on a Twitter rant about it.
Good for him. But what was the deal with these teams taking forever to bowl their overs? Why the fuck were they dragging their asses?
There are a few theories floating around. Some people think teams were deliberately slowing things down to disrupt the other team's momentum, especially when they were under pressure. Others think the new impact player rule might have added to the delays, as teams took more time to strategize and make substitutions.
So it could be a combo of gamesmanship and figuring out the new rules.
Possibly. It's hard to say for sure what the main culprits were.
Fair enough. Wouldn't be cricket without a little controversy, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some of the insane shit that went down the field. Like Rashid Khan's hat trick, for fuck's sake.
Right. Taking 3 wickets and 3 balls is rare as fuck in any format of cricket. For Rashid Khan to pull that off in the IPL, legendary.
The dude's a goddamn magician.
Absolutely.
And speaking of legendary, can you believe how many players scored their first IPL centuries this season? Harry Brook, Venkatesh Iyer, Yashasvi Jaiswal Suryakumar, Yadav, Heinrich Klaassen, Prabh Simran, Singh, Cameron Green, and Shubman Gill. Are you shitting me?
It was wild. It's
What?
incredibly uncommon to see that many players reach that milestone in a single season. The talent pool in the IPL is just insane.
And Yashasvi Jaiswal, that little fucker, hit the fastest 50 in IPL history. 13 balls. Can you even imagine the pressure?
Unbelievable hitting.
Okay, let's talk about the final rain delays revised target last ball finish.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was bananas.
The final was a total roller coaster. Gujarat Titans set a massive target of 214 runs, thanks to a brilliant 96 from Sai Sudharsan.
Sudharsan was on fire.
Absolutely. Then the rain came pouring down, delayed the match, and forced a revised target of 171 runs in 15 overs for Chennai Super Kings.
Talk about a fucking nail-biter.
The match went down to the wire, with Chennai needing 13 runs off the last over. Ravindra Jadeja kept his cool and smashed 2 fours off the final 2 balls to clinch the victory.
Jadeja, the ice-cold motherfucker. Yeah. So that brings us to the MVP, the player of the tournament, Shubman Gill. That dude was an absolute beast.
Shubman Gill had a season for the ages. He racked up 890 runs, the most by any player, and hammered 2 centuries along the way. His consistency and dominance for the Gujarat Titans were insane.
Dude was a run-scoring machine.
He was in a league of his own.
All right, let's take a step back and break down what the fuck just happened. What were the big takeaways from this insane season?
The 2023 season was a whirlwind. From the return to the home and away format to the impact player rule, the changes added a whole new level of drama and unpredictability.
And don't forget the controversies. The slow, overrate bullshit and the debates about the impact player screwing up all-rounders.
Despite all that, we saw some truly incredible performances. A record number of players hitting their first IPL centuries, and a final that'll be talked about for years to come.
It was a season that had it all: skill competition drama and some serious edge-of-your-seat moments.
For sure. So let's get back to this whole impact player shitstorm. Remember, everyone was freaking out about it, screwing up the all-rounders?
Yeah, some people were losing their minds over that. Explain to our listeners what the hell an all-rounder is and why everyone was so pissed.
An all-rounder is like the Swiss Army knife of cricket. They can bat, bowl, field, like a motherfucker. They can do it all.
So why were people so worried about the impact player rule ruining them?
The worry was that teams would just use the impact player to swap out an all-rounder who was having a bad day. Like if his batting was weak, they'd bring in a specialist batsman instead. You know? It undermines the whole point of having an all-rounder.
So basically it's like saying, fuck you to the jack of all trades and favoring specialists.
Exactly. And that shift in thinking could totally change how teams value all-rounders in the future.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating to see how that plays out. But let's get back to the highlights. Remember Rashid Khan's hat-trick against Kolkata? That shit was insane.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For those who don't know, a hat trick is when a bowler takes 3 wickets in 3 consecutive balls. It's rare as fuck and takes insane skill and a whole lot of luck.
And Rashid Khan made it look easy.
The dude's a wizard.
Okay, let's talk about those insane maiden IPL centuries. This season, we had 8 players hit their first ever IPL century.
It's crazy, right?
It is pretty much unheard of. To put it in perspective, there were only 84 maiden centuries in the entire history of the IPL before this season.
So what the hell happened? Did everyone suddenly become a batting god? Well, the pitches were definitely batting friendly this season. And some of the new rules, like the impact player, might have given batsmen more freedom to swing for the fences. But it really comes down to the players themselves. They were just phenomenal.
So let's talk about some of those centuries. Give me some stats that'll make my jaw drop.
All right. So Harry Brooks smashed a century off just 55 balls against Kolkata Knight Riders, 12 fours and 3 sixes.
55 balls?
Yeah.
Fuck me. That's fast. What about Venkatesh Iyer? What was special about his century?
Well, it was a huge moment for Kolkata Knight Riders fans because it ended a 15-year century drought for the team. The last time a KKR player hit a century was all the way back in 2008, when Brendan McCullum smashed 158 runs in the very first IPL match ever.
Talk about breaking a curse.
Yeah.
Right, what about Yashasvi Jaiswal? Give me the rundown.
Jaiswal became the youngest player to ever score a century in the IPL, at only 21 years and 227 days old. And he also holds the record for the fastest 50 in IPL history, 13 balls against Kolkata Knight Riders.
13 balls. That's insane. The dude must have been seeing the ball like a beach ball.
Yeah, his hand-eye coordination is incredible. Moving on to Surya Kumar Yadav. His maiden IPL century was a sight to behold. He went unbeaten, scoring 103 runs with 11 fours and 6 sixes.
Just blasting those balls into orbit. What about Heinrich Klaassen? Anything notable about his century?
His century was a bit of a heartbreaker, actually. He smashed 104 runs off just 51 balls against Royal Challengers Bangalore, but his team, the Sunrisers Hyderabad, still lost the match.
Outscoring a century and losing must sting. What about Prabh Simran Singh? How do you make his mark?
Singh, the young wicketkeeper batsman for Punjab Kings, smashed 103 runs off 65 balls against Delhi Capitals. He's definitely one to watch.
Another young gun. All right, who else do we have?
Cameron Green, the Australian all-rounder for Mumbai Indians. He had a stellar debut season, smashing 2 centuries. His second century was a masterpiece, 100 runs off just 47 balls against Sunrisers Hyderabad.
2 centuries in a debut season. That's impressive. Okay, let's talk about Shubman Gill's maiden century, the player of the tournament. What made his century so special?
Gill actually got 2 centuries this season. His second one in Qualifier 2 against Mumbai Indians was insane. 129 runs off just 60 balls. It was the highest individual score in IPL playoff history.
They saved the best for last.
Okay.
Enough about the centuries.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that insane final. It was a wild ride.
A total classic, rain delays, a revised target, a last ball finish. You couldn't script it better.
Gujarat set a huge target thanks to Sai Sudarshan, but then the rain came down and fucked with everyone.
Gujarat ended up with 214 runs. But because of the rain delay, the target for Chennai Super Kings was revised to 171 runs in 15 overs.
Talk about pressure.
And Chennai, led by MS Dhoni, pulled it off. They needed 13 runs off the last over. And Ravindra Jadeja came through and smashed 2 fours to win the match.
What a finish to an epic season. So there you have it, folks. The 2023 IPL season, a whirlwind of insane batting, controversial rule changes, and a fucking epic final.
It really makes you wonder what they'll come up with next.
Exactly. What's next for the IPL? Will the impact player rules stick around? Will they finally figure out how to get these teams to bowl their fucking overs on time?
Well, the impact player rule is definitely interesting. It really shook things up. And it'll be interesting to see if they tweak it or keep it as is. But yeah, that slow over rate issue, something's got to give. Everyone's getting pissed off. They need to figure out a solution or they risk losing fans.
I couldn't agree more. But one thing's for sure. The IPL will keep pushing boundaries and finding new ways to blow our minds. It's a league that thrives on innovation and entertainment, and that's what makes it so goddamn addictive.
The energy, the skill level, it's all top-notch.
So if you haven't already, do yourself a favor and check out the IPL. Whether you're a cricket fanatic or just looking for some insane sports entertainment, this league will hook you in and leave you wanting more.
It's a wild ride.
That's it for our deep dive into the 2023 IPL season. We covered the rule changes, the controversies, the highlights, and the future of this crazy-ass league. Hope you enjoyed it. Now go forth and spread the gospel of the IPL, you magnificent bastards.